Hi, this is Bob McIlvaine talking, and today we're going to be talking about not only the air, water, and energy market, but the adjacencies. And instead of talking about a $1 trillion market, we're going to be talking about a $10 trillion market. Now, I've been involved in this since 1974, and it's interesting that it's a complete repetition of what we went through in around 1971 and through 75 when there was the oil embargo. Now we've got the Russian gas and oil embargo now, and many of the same issues came up and various different ways to deal with them that affected the air, water, energy market were applied. And with the insights of all that history, we see that uh, the lessons learned need to be institutionalized so that you don't make some of the same mistakes again. But anyway, over the last 50 years, the McIlvaine Company has built a growth strategy for companies in the air, water, and energy industry. And the guide is built on the strategic Internet of Wisdom, SIOW. And by that, I mean it's everything that's bottoms up and direct rather than top down and indirect, with indirect means you're estimating one thing from something else rather than trying to directly get the facts. So we like to get, if we're going to be talking about sugar production in Jamaica, we want to know exactly the tons of sugar that are being produced, how much of it's cane sugar, how much of it's beet sugar, whether there's ethanol or biomass, they call the waste they call bagasse, which is burned, et cetera, et cetera. So what we've done is develop millions and millions of data points relating to the markets in and competition, acquisitions, processes, so forth. And many of them are interrelated. Where if you're starting with valves or pumps, you would then work into scrubbers and evaporators and dryers and centrifuges and so forth, and then into complete systems. And we uh, we have a number of different reports. We also have an umbrella report that you can see at this link here. The uh, link to our main website and to the comprehensive growth strategy for air, water, and energy. And from that one link, you can go to about 20 different reports, 6 or 7 in air, 6 or 7 in water, 3 or 4 in flow, and then the system reports like in the clean room industry or ultra pure water or whatever. And in each case, we have this granular data down to every country of the world, every process, every industry, and it's something we've accumulated and built and tried to perfect over the many years. But what we found is that many of the major AWE air water energy suppliers are also in adjacent areas. And this larger AWE market with the adjacencies is over $10 trillion. So when these companies make a growth decision, they have to make it, and they have to make a choice. Is it in the adjacent area or is it something within the air, water, energy area? And we want to be able to answer those questions as well as just help them with their decisions within air, water, and energy. And in essence, every decision they make has to be couched in the terms of whether it should be in an adjacent area or in a new area or in the basic air, water, energy area. And let's start with what a lot of the companies that we do market research for are doing, who are the larger suppliers in the air, water, energy industry. And every one of these companies does more than 500 million in air, water, energy sales, and many of them do 6 or 7 billion in air, water, energy sales. But nevertheless, much of their revenue can be outside the air, water, energy area. Obviously, 3M is in all sorts of areas, but a lot of it's related. And they have the basic filtration areas. They're the inventor of essentially the air filter that's used for medium air filtration and HVAC. But 90% of what they do is outside of air, water, energy. ABB is somebody, in fact, we had an assignment early on from Brown Boveri to assess a FLACT, and that was prior to the merger and, of course, the subsequent name ABB. But they're heavily into measurement control, but most of it's outside of air, water, energy. Alstrom is a major supplier of filter media, but they make all sorts of other media for every conceivable type of product, and so much of it, 70%, is outside of the air, water, energy. Andritz has most of it in air, water, energy, but some of it's outside of air, water, energy. Alfa Laval is a big system supplier, and so much of it's in air, water, energy, but there's some that isn't. And Atlas Copco has been rapidly moving into additional areas of air, water, and energy, but 40% is outside of it. Babcock and Wilcox is mostly in air, water, energy. Baker Hughes also mostly, but 60% actually is actually could be considered outside air, water, and energy. Crane about 50%. Danaher 70%. Even though they're very big within air, water, energy, but even so, more of it's outside of that. Dow provides RO membranes and a lot of the materials for the vessels and other things that are used in air, water, energy. But being the big company that it is, 85% is in other areas. DuPont, similarly, they're big in everything from clean room garments to filter modules, but 90% is outside of it. Emerson, about 80% is outside of it, much of it in the measurement and control area. But for instance, just in valves alone, they acquired Tyco, who had at the time over $2 billion in valve sales, and now the valve portion alone is over $3 billion. Flowserve is very much focused on air, water, and energy, and very little, only 10%, could be considered out of it. Howden, with all their compressors, fans, et cetera, is mostly in air, water, energy. GEA is a big system supplier in pharmaceuticals and also food, and about 60% is outside of air, water, energy. Ingersoll Rand is moving into filtration and into pumps and valves and all these other areas, but 40% is outside of the air, water, energy. Johnson Matthey, about 40% outside of it. Rockwell, 85%. They're in all sorts of automation. Siemens, about 80% is out of it. SPX, about 30% is out of it. They're mostly in cooling towers and things. In the split, SPX Flow is almost purely in air, water, and energy. And Thermo Fisher has all sorts of products measuring air pollution and all sorts of other areas within air, water, energy. But again, a very big company with most of it outside of that area. Xylem is mostly air, water, energy. Yokogawa splits between discrete and process measurement, but mostly is in process measurement. So most of their activity is in air, water, energy, but about 40% of it isn't. So this gives you a sense of why all these companies need a lot more than just focusing on a $1 trillion market. They need all the what we call intelligence, strategic intelligence, in all these related areas. And to do this, we've decided that we need to work with partners who are going to help us in this immense effort. it's made very easy by the fact that much of it's already in place. We have all the countries of the world, we have all the industries, we have uh, many of the suppliers, tens of thousands of suppliers, and so what we're doing in air, water, energy can be not only translated into these adjacent areas, but basically business generally. That if you're making sugar, the you need process information about the plants that make that sugar, but you also need artificial intelligence in the packaging of your sugar and in the distribution and all the retail and so forth. So there are common customers throughout business that can benefit from the expansion of the strategic Internet of Wisdom outside of the traditional areas where McIlvaine has been involved. So we would encourage anybody who would like to talk to us about how we can work together to, and I would essentially say it's like a chess strategy, that you have to be looking at all the different moves of all the different players, of all that the opposition can make with all the different chess pieces, and this involves billions of potential moves, but it's doable. The intelligence is out there. We're doing it in $1 trillion area now, and the application of all that intelligence and knowledge to these other areas is made a lot easier by doing it. So I'd like to talk to you, hear your thoughts on it, and would enjoy the conversations. You can see here that you can reach me either at this 847-226-2391 or at R. McIlvaine at McIlvaineCompany.com. And if you just want to talk about it and why we're doing what we're doing, I'd be glad to talk to you about that as well. And of course, since we're in the air, water, energy markets, if you've got uh, uh, some needs for growth strategies within that market, I certainly want to talk to you. So again, this is Bob McIlvaine. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you this afternoon and look forward to further conversations. Thank you.